Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Hey, I hear it's snowing up north where I used to live in New York, and then before New York, my home state of Michigan, where I was born. That's why it's my home state. As I've said several times in the past, I think I miss my home state of Michigan, but one thing I have to confess I don't miss is digging my car out from under 3 feet of snow, which I have had to do sometimes. And I even remember a time when I went to visit some people in Toronto, which is only a 4-hour drive from Detroit. That's the part of Michigan I'm from. Or as we know it, the Paris of the southeastern corner of lower Michigan. At least it was as I was growing up there. It's certainly not the Paris of the southeast corner of lower Michigan now. Or maybe it is. Who knows what the rest of the state is like, but Detroit is no paradise, that's for sure. It's no Paris now, but it's only 4 hours from there to Toronto. I remember waking up one morning and it had snowed so much overnight that I had trouble even finding my car, let alone digging it out of the snow. So I don't miss that part of Michigan. Sorry, but I have to call him as I see him. Now, first order of business, before I get to the main subject, a little bit of housekeeping here, is to welcome a new subscriber that I got actually just a few minutes ago before I started recording this vlog. As you can see when I put him up here on the screen, it was only 12 minutes ago. Well, by now it's probably maybe 15, 20 minutes ago that I got a new subscriber. And I guess you can call it a twist of fate because I had welcomed a new subscriber a few days ago, Timothy Price, and I complimented Timothy, or I thanked him. I said, thanks, Timothy, for having a nice, easy to pronounce name. So what do I get now, this new subscriber? Yasu Kelchi. I hope I'm pronouncing that one right. Yasu Kelchi or Yasu Kelchi. Who knows? I'm going with Yasu Kelchi, but either way, however you pronounce it, welcome to the family. I'm happy to see you here. I hope you'll stick around. And now we can get to the main subject, which is, well, no, one more little thing. Well, yeah, it's related to impeachment. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But I just got this poll. I'm going to put it up here. It's actually not a poll. It's an average of polls. It's the Real Clear Politics average of polls. And as you can see on that first line there in yellow, the average of all these polls is showing that the tide has turned against impeaching Donald Trump. What's important about an average is not just one poll. If you take many of the recent polls that have been taken in the last few days or so, you average them all together, and now the preponderance is against impeachment. And that's interesting because it looks like there's a trend here that the longer this impeachment process, or as I call it, impeachment circus, goes on, the more the public seems to be turning against impeachment. But also the 31 representatives who won their seats in 2018 in districts that had voted for Trump, they are getting a real earful, or at least, well, I actually haven't seen any videos or reports of any of these 31 representatives getting complimented or thanked by their constituents. I've seen just the opposite. We had Karen Horn, I think that was her, no, Kristen Horn. I'm not sure of her first name. Horn, definitely. And she got a real earful from her constituents. Now we have another one, Alyssa Slotkin from my home state of Michigan. That district, the one she won, it had voted for Trump by 7 points. He won that district by 7 points. And well, here's the video of a town hall. Watch the reaction. Just watch the video.
I'm going to walk you through my logic, and I know it's clear that we don't all agree, but I'm going to walk you through my logic in an attempt to be transparent. And I knew from the very beginning that that this was going to be a controversial decision, right? That was something I understood from the very beginning. But for me, it was something that was important to do as a matter of in September, I'm just going to keep on rolling, folks.
All right, you just saw that. That is number two. Two videos of constituents who are not too happy with their representatives, and yet these representatives seem to be willing to walk the plank for Nancy Pelosi, which I cannot understand. Well, in a way, it's a compliment, well, kind of a backhanded compliment, that she is able to enforce discipline to get these Democratic representatives to vote in a way that is probably going to cost them their seats. Not all of them, as we're going to see in a second, and this is the main subject that I want to get to, and that's Jeff Van Drew. He is one of these 31 moderate Democrats, and actually these 31 moderate Democrats will soon be 30 moderate Democrats, because Van Drew is going to switch parties. He's going to switch from Democrat to Republican, which is a smart thing to do if you're in a Republican-leaning district. Well, this is the point that I want to make, that the Republican Party really is a big tent. You've got very conservative senators like Ted Cruz, that's a perfect example, but then you've also got Susan Collins from Maine, you have Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who do not support the president as much. They are moderate. I do expect them to vote against impeachment. Well, not against impeachment, against removing him from office. The impeachment vote was the House. We sometimes forget that, but it's a two-stage process. Impeachment is only what the House does. The Senate is trial. So there you go. Quick little free civics lesson from me. But moderates are much more tolerated in the Republican Party than in the Democratic Party. And this is a message I would like to send out to any moderate, well, especially moderate Democratic representatives who may be watching this video. I hope. But just moderate Democrats who are watching this video who are not representatives or hold no office, but are just moderate Democrats. You would be more tolerated in the Republican Party as a moderate Republican. As a moderate Republican, you would still be able to hold and vote for many of your views. Donald Trump is a perfect example, as a matter of fact. He is being called a conservative, but as somebody pointed out today, a pundit, he is not really a conservative, or he's a conservative in some ways as far as his judicial appointments and taxes and reducing regulations, reducing tax rates. But he also, and this is a frustration for me as a conservative, he seems to be completely blind to entitlement reform, to the solvency problems of Medicare and Social Security. He refuses to listen to any reform of those programs, especially Social Security, before it goes bankrupt. So I would not really call him a conservative. I would call him a semi-conservative, I suppose, or I would call him a moderate, actually, because he's conservative on some issues and not on other issues, which brings me back to the point that I was making before I started to get off track. As I do sometimes, you'll find out as you watch these vlogs, if you're a new subscriber, that I do sometimes digress and go off on tangents. But coming back to my main point, that as a moderate Republican, your views would be listened to, number one. But number two, I've noticed in the House, you have, of course, the whip, the majority whip, the minority whip, who try to gather votes, who count votes in the House for specific legislation. But I have never noticed on the Republican side the kind of arm twisting that I see on the Democratic side. If you're a moderate Democratic representative and you move over, as Jeff Van Drew is about to do, if you move over to the Republican Party, you may find the Republican whip talking to you about voting for this, that, or the other thing, but I do not think that you will be pressured to the point that you are being pressured now in the Democratic Party. Though you may disappoint the Republican majority, you may disappoint a Republican president with your vote sometime, I am pretty sure that your moderation, if not always welcomed in the House of Representatives by the Republicans, at least by the conservative Republicans, will still be respected, and respected much more than they are right now in the Democratic side of the House. So I would say think about it. Oh, and I would add one more point, which is that if you think the Republican Party is too far to the right, I think your presence would help to moderate the Republican Party. At least it would be a small step in that direction, because your vote will be needed sometimes in a close vote, in a very close vote, if there is one. So you could have some influence. Or put it this way, I think the odds of your moderating the Republican Party are much greater than the odds of your moderating the Democratic Party. I think it's hopeless on the Democratic side, at least for a long time to come, unless they lose a lot of moderate Democrats, such as yourself. That is the only way that they would ever change. They would have to start losing elections, or they will never change. And maybe not even then, because the extreme left of the party is so extreme and so set in its ways and so influential within the Democratic Party that I, again, really don't see a whole lot of hope there. That's the vlog for today. Thanks for stopping by. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can put them in the comment section below the video. You can also ask questions if you want me to answer any questions. And you can subscribe. That would be great. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And finally come back and see me again, because I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.